Welcome back, and you're watching the Ideal Space TV show. This week I went out in search of a simple 2-bedroomed furnished apartment. What I came across had everything designed with a little bit of class and the earth to it. Here's what the people at Palm Golding got me.
Hi Tim, welcome to Fedha Apartments. These are a block of 2 blocks of 10 each. There's block A and there's block B. They're all identically designed, exactly the same from the inside. Both towers have 2-bedroomed plus 1 DSQ, like I'll show to you later on. There are 5 floors, so every block has 2 apartments on every floor. So we have 10 on block A and 10 on block B.
What acreage does this one sit on?
This is approximately half an acre.
So space is practically up.
Space is all up. It's very well. Each apartment gets, 2 apartments get a lift to themselves, really. So what is better than that in Nairobi today, where you tend to share with 5-6 other apartments and things like that. So it's very well, yes, the space has been used vertically more than horizontally. Down on the ground floor, as you can see, it's mostly parking. Because of the lack of landscaping, the grass and whatever, so we've got some beautiful pots on the walls.
Clever.
We've actually used the walls to landscape, to add that greenery. So because these are just new apartments, you can see that these are just put recently, but over time we'll have a lush green sort of walls all around to soothe the eyes, which is also very important in today's living. The apartments are very nicely finished. I don't know if you can see the sparkle band on every side. These are actually stone finishes that we've used. They are a South African stone that comes from South Africa, 2-3 millimeter thick. It adds a good texture to the whole building. So when you look at up there, you will see the sparkle. It breaks the monotony from the flat surface. It's sometimes very difficult to establish, but we also have a nice textured plaster on the walls.
That's where I was about to go, because there's some similarity between this building and the Samir group. But we can go into details.
Okay.
What sort of plaster is this that's on the wall?
The plaster that we've used actually is an amazing material that is used to correct imperfections in normal standard plaster works. So what happens is, when you use ordinary paint on standard plaster, which hasn't been done very well, you get these waves.
Yeah.
This particular plaster is about 2 to 3 millimeter thick, and it has a very nice texture to it. So the texture adds the richness. When you apply that, a lot of the imperfections are actually hidden. And the plaster comes in the color that you order in, so you don't need to paint over it. It can have a guarantee of almost 10 years or beyond. So it's very good. Since we've used a very light color, even with this tropical sun, it doesn't fade. So it lasts for quite a long time, and it's well worth using in any good sort of construction application.
It's time to check out the apartments.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Right, so this is our typical 2-bedroomed furnished apartment. Before we go into the apartment, I'd like to show you the domestic staff quarter. This was initially designed as a domestic staff quarter,
right.
But as we went along with the developer, the project, we realized that some people might need a study or an extra guest room. So the finishes were put in exactly the way we used for the inside. So the cupboards, the floor finishes, the bathroom was done exactly the same style, same finishes, so that it could be used as a domestic staff quarter, but it could be used as a study or an extra guest room.
Does it have a connecting door to the main house?
No, unfortunately it doesn't. It has just the one entrance, so anybody who wants to use it has to come out of the main apartment and through this door.
Let's go for the other one.
All right, thank you. So then I'll take you to the apartment. Beautiful finishes, hardwood doors used, hardwood finishes used throughout the apartment. Just as you enter on the left hand side, there is a small cloakroom which has just the basic but very well finished look. They're all local tiles, sarge tiles, but done in such a way that they look very expensive, but very simply done. On the right side is the lounge, good size lounge, which also opens up to the dining room. On this side, on the left side, we have the open kitchen. This is actually a very contemporary design, very simple, just ideal for a young couple. So you know, if you notice, there's no wall separating the main kitchen into the lounge. A young couple cooking here can have the kids sitting here, have their breakfast, or use the dining table on that side. Can be part of the whole family while they're watching their TV. The lady can be cooking here. Yeah. So very practical sort of a kitchen. All the accessories are come as part of the deal. When you rent an apartment like this, the microwave, the oven, the fridge. On this side we have the hob and the hood. We have a beautiful sink here, and I want to highlight, we have the apartment has solar heating. So the bathrooms have the solar, the hot water 24 hours. For the kitchen, because sometimes the staff tend to overuse, and when you really need the hot water in the bathrooms, you might run out. So the developer decided to give underwater sink hot water system. And if you can see on the far end, we have a Davis and Shirtliff filtration system that allows anybody wanting to use fresh drinking water to directly use the tap to be able to drink as well.
Good. And there's a washing machine.
There's a beautiful laundry area outside actually. You have the Adobe sink here. We have this is not just a washing machine, it is also a dryer at the same time. So unlike a lot of apartments where you'll see these ugly clothes hanging as well, you have the option. The the landlord has given those hooks there to allow somebody to dry it as well, but you have that option of drying it within as well. So you don't have that ugly kind of clothes hanging outside. Yeah. And you know, they tend to, people living in Kenya used to hanging clothes outside. When you come from abroad, you're so used to using a dryer. Yeah. That you want to carry on with the same system.
But you see here we've got the natural dryer.
You're right. That's the reason why the landlords sort of, I mean the owner has given the option of both. So if you're comfortable with drying them outside, by all means you can do that. You're not, you can use the dryer as well.
I noticed that every single corner here has a character of its own.
Yeah.
Is that accidental?
No. This was actually well planned. It's one of the very nicely planned apartments. If you notice here, we have, for instance, this is the dining. So we have a small bulkhead which is made out of gypsum just over the slab. So while it was being constructed, this was just a plain ceiling. But then these, later on, the designer decided to accentuate the spaces a little more. And that's when you have a good design. You have the bulkhead over the dining room defining the dining. You have a bulkhead over the living space. You have a small bulkhead here that allows you to actually put light fittings just over the breakfast area. These sort of, when you play around with the ceilings like this, and obviously not overdo it, but it always helps to put together a good interior. And if you notice here on the side, we've just played around. Initially, this was just a column. This was a structural column that was just placed by the engineer at the construction stage. Mm-hmm. And we had a funny space here and we have had a funny space here. So we just sort of decided to make it a decorative piece. So we decided to make a small alcove, put a bulkhead there, put a small cupboard down here to give it some sort of storage. Maybe you have a music system that you want to hide and put away. You have the speakers. So you need to then just use this space. And similarly on the dining side here, sometimes you have some spoons and some extra things that you just want handy, coasters. So this allows you to just use this particular space. So yes, you're right. It's, you know, this is, it is a character, and and it helps to sell the property, because anybody who's going to live here, it's a very practical living as well. I will now take you to the bedroom area. So we have two bedrooms, one on the left, one on the right. This one is, because it was a sample apartment, it's the owner has actually decided to furnish it with a duvet, the cushions and all, just to give anybody wanting to move in an idea of what it can look like. Yeah. Although this is a furnished apartment, it's just basic furniture. It doesn't have bed sheets, duvets and everything. So I'll take you to the other room after this to show you what it actually looks like. But this one is for anybody taking up the apartment to see how it can look after he moves in. So like I said, using earthen colors and just a splash of color makes this room a bit of red.
So I can do away with this?
You can of course do it. This is just purely maridadi. You don't really need it. At night you definitely have to put it away. Okay. So both bedrooms are en suite, and both have the toilet, the sink and the shower, which are very practical sort of bathroom sizes that we have here. Again, going back to the earthen tones, simple tiles, sarge tiles again, but you know, whoever moves in can decide what colors to put, mats, and add in the color that way. And I'll take you to the next bedroom just to show you what the actual apartment will come with. As you can see here, there's no cushions, duvets, no bed sheet, bed cover, nothing. So this is the basic furniture that the actual apartment is rented out at. Okay. Very nice, very spacious cupboards, all done locally here. So the whole apartment actually has finishes that are done and bought locally. So again, it has an ensuite on this side, which is identical to the bathroom that we saw on the other side. Same thing, we have the shower, we have the sink, and we have the toilet here. Very nice, very practical shower to have. We've got a lot of apartments you'll go to, you will always see that there's no place to keep the soap, the shampoo. So this is something that is permanent, never going to break, unlike a lot of small shelves, piddly little shelves that people tend to put.
Yeah.
So a very practical, sort of practically designed apartment. So really, we're back to the dining and the lounge. And that's really it. The apartment actually has a borehole, it has a generator, it has a solar heating as well, right, like I mentioned to you. So it's ideal, it's centrally located, literally 2 minutes away from Yaya Center. So very much preferred by multinational companies, expatriates moving into the country. Obviously they don't want to get into buying furniture, they're here on a 1-year, 2-year contract. So that is our market target that we're looking at.